Alright, back again, Luke here, and today what I wanted to do is kind of make a little bit of a tip video here for all you guys out there who own candy cabs and maybe experiencing some sound trouble. Now, I got this candy cab, if you remember, a while back, and this thing was just a complete wreck. And I had to do a lot of different rewiring on here just to get the wire harness to work right, because somebody had taken it all apart and it looked like they were running a PC on the inside of it. I'm not sure exactly what was going on. But what I did is I went through all the wires and I thought I had all the wires correct. And I plugged in my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles board, and that thing worked out fine. The sound was great and everything worked fine. I plugged in my other board over here, Mr. Driller, and that thing was fine, no sound trouble. I plugged in my Kadash board and instantly I noticed, okay, I'm not getting really good sound. And then the sound started getting crackly and there was no bass line in it. It sounded horrible. And I thought, oh geez, great. So my Kadash board must be fried, or the amp on it, like here hooked up to this this heat sink, that must have been fried or something. And I just thought, oh man, why this board? You know, this is one of my favorite boards. I went around throughout the board, you know, checking different capacitors. I changed out all these caps on here and nothing changed. I went and reflowed the solder on the amp, nothing changed. And I thought, okay, well, one of my great boards here is gone and I'm gonna have to wind up replacing, you know, the amp on it or something, you know. And some of these older boards, trying to get these parts, it's a little bit tricky, you know. Some of these parts aren't made anymore. But what I did today is I decided I was going to get out my Double Dragon, regular Double Dragon board, which is in there if you can see it, and I plugged that thing in, and sure enough, I was getting no sound, but I was getting sound effects. And I thought to myself, what the hell, you know, what are the odds of two boards not having any sound? So I went and I tried to hook them up over in my Astro City in the other room, and still no sound. And I thought, geez, these boards are really going bad quick, you know. I'm keeping good, you know, care of them. I'm trying to keep them out of moisture and keeping them all wrapped up here with bubble wrap, but they're still, you know, having sound problems. So, you know, I jumped on the web and I tried looking for different reasons. Why would these things be popping stuff? I found absolutely nothing. And what I did find out was, after going around and checking out through some of these boards here, is that a lot of them ran on -5 volts, and a lot of these boards here, you need the -5 in order to run the sound. So immediately what I did is I ran back over here to the harness, and I checked the harness, and there was no wire here running to the -5. And I thought, okay, where's the wire going to the -5? So I ran that wire all the way back here, and it was connected. So I checked it, and you know, I went backwards and I looked all the way down here, and I kid you not, on the ground points here on the ends of the JAMMA connector, there should be about 4 wires connected to the bottom 4 here, the last 4 on the end, and then 4 on this end as well. And because these are the same color, I couldn't see that there was actually a 5th wire attached to it. Somebody had soldered a 5th wire on it. So I desoldered that wire. That wire is right here, if you can see this white one here. This thing, you know, the solder points and everything on here were just a mess, but trying to separate them and whatever. I put that back on there, and just hoping and praying, you know, that that was the problem. I went and plugged in my Double Dragon board again, and the sound popped back on, and I was thinking, all right, this is excellent, you know, I finally got my board working again, and no sound trouble. And then I decided to go back and check out my Kadash board, and I was just hoping that that was the problem with this as well, because all I was getting is a lot of popping sounds, and nothing was happening. And sure enough, I mean, if I turn up the volume here, this is going to be a little bit tricky, but put in some coins. As you can hear, I mean, the bass line's back, it's working fine, got my sound back. This sound was super crackly before, and it was driving me up the wall, I kid you not, because this is one of my favorite arcade boards here. I was seriously worried that I would have to do some repair on the soundboard, but yeah, that's all it was the -5 volts, and it brought it back. It brought them both back. So this is a tip here for you guys who maybe pick up some of these candy cabs. I mean, when you pick these cabs up, you never know where they've been, you never know what people have done to them. And one thing I strongly recommend is, if you get one of these candy cabs used, go ahead, I'm sure this is probably the same for the regular cabs back in the States as well, but go through your wire harness and double, triple check to make sure that all these wires are hooked up in the right spots. And one way you can really do this is if you have the manual itself, this is definitely a plus. You know, I don't have the manual here for this Blast City, but I do have it for my Astro City. So I busted out that, and I went along the wire harness here, and I double checked, you know, I looked along here and I found that there's the grounds and there's the -5 volts right here. So 5 and E are connected, and then ran that all the way back up here and checked the connector here and found out where the 5 volts ran into, or the -5 ran into. And to use as a kind of reference point for this one, I also went and I checked the 5 volts and the +5, all these +5 ones, and I ran those back so I could see where they were going on the harness just to double check. And even though the power supply is a little bit different for the Astro City and the Blast City, there's a board in here that you're probably not going to be able to see. Well, maybe I got my flashlight, so. This board here, I ran it back here to this board, and as you can see, somebody has taken the liberty of chopping a lot of wires there. You can see the white ones are chopped and so are the brown ones. But I ran that all the way back just to follow, and on the side here, you know, it has all the numbers written down, and I double checked those, and then I followed the lines down here to the harness, and sure enough, I was able to find it. But that is one thing that I thought, you know, it might help out some guys, especially if you're having board trouble and you're having a cab that just does not want to play the sounds from different boards that you plug into it. It just doesn't work out right. I figured I'd make this video here to help you guys out. And you know, you probably can find some information here on forums and things like that, but nothing helps out, in my personal opinion, more than a video, kind of like a hands-on type thing to show you where the things are, where things are located, how to trace them back, things like that. And that's why I'm making this video here. But yeah, just to reiterate that if you're having a problem with one of your arcade boards and the sound is not working on it, or you're getting low sound, the case with my Double Dragon board, I had no sound as far as music goes, but if I cranked the volume all the way up with a little bit of static in the background, I could hear the sound effects, but there was no sound. With this Kadash board, the sound was playing, but it sounded horrible. I mean, a huge static sound, and there was no bass line. It was completely missing. So after changing out that -5, you know, you can hear it. I mean, it sounds great. You know, there's no problem at all. Yeah, it still plays great. So, yeah, I just want to share that with you guys here. And yeah, if you have any trouble, you know, come back to this video, or, you know, try and use what you've learned from the video here and check out your own cab. And who knows, you might not have to replace the capacitors on your board. Although there are some cases where these boards, they're old, and you know, from time to time you do need to replace the capacitors, and definitely you might have to replace the amp, you know, here. But in some cases, before you start, you know, doing what I did and just removing all the caps and putting in new ones and trying to troubleshoot this, definitely troubleshoot the harness first and make sure that you have all the wires in the right spot, and you might just get lucky like I did and not have to worry about 2 of your favorite arcade boards being broken. But that's about all for me for right now, and like always, I'll put up another video here soon, so thanks for watching. Man, I'm so happy to have this sound back. Ah, so nice. Excellent.